So, finding product ideas. So now we're decided, okay, we know what we're going to sell, we're going to private label, we're going to do all this stuff. Great. Now we got to go out and find a product. Okay, or products. Well, it's not as easy as just saying, hey, how about this one? You actually have quite a bit of searching and looking and ideas and things like that in front of you that you got to figure out. So there is no magic here, guys. Product selection is the hardest part of this entire business because it's time consuming. It's labor intensive. There's a million possibilities and no one can tell you exactly which product to sell. So just know all these facts going in. Know this, it's going to suck. It will suck. But you have to do it if you want to succeed. It is not hard. It's simple. May not be easy, but it is a simple process. It just takes time and it takes effort. So if you stick through it, follow the methods I'm going to show you, you will get through it. You will find a number of different products to start with, and you will be able to start getting going and being successful with it. I've done it. Tons of other people have done it as well. This works. Choose a market first. All right? You have to start your research somewhere. This makes it easier. If you just say, I don't know what I'm going to sell, whatever, well, at least choose a market or a niche. Choose something to help you kind of scale down what area you want to focus your initial searching on. You can always change it later if you don't find anything, but to give yourself a starting point, choose a market first. Focus on markets within the big three: dating and relationship, health and wellness, money and business. Okay? Why these three? Because there is an almost unlimited amount of traffic out there in these different categories. Okay? Now, everything somehow pretty much falls into here. You know, sports, all that kind of sports and outdoors, that falls into health and wellness. Some of the home stuff falls into health and wellness. Some of it falls into dating and relationships, money and business. Any of those categories is fine. Think about how the product relates. If you're like, I'm not so sure, think about how it relates to the main category and if there's traffic for it. As long as it's not something ridiculous, like my favorite example of underwater basket weaving, you're probably going to be okay. But try to go after the bigger markets where there's lots and lots of traffic. You can niche down within there to find a very targeted product, but you want to make sure that there is plenty of traffic available to you because you're a marketer. You need traffic to market to in order to make lots of money from sales, right? Do not go for generic products or categories. Some examples of this: the Snuggie, a Chia Pet, or a Pet Rock. All right, guys, all you Facebook ad experts, think about this. How would you do a targeted Facebook ad to find somebody who's going to buy a Snuggie? You can't. It's too generic. You can't. I mean, probably the best thing you could do is go after like someone who likes to smoke a lot of weed or something like that, or you know, sleep around all the time. You know, just because there's just nothing to choose. Someone who's just going to stay home all day, couch potato. You can't. Chia Pet, same thing. Pet Rock, same thing. If you can't target the marketing, how are you going to sell the product? People say you cast a wide net. That's a good thing, right? Not so much. You cast too wide of a net, and everything slips through. All right, so don't go for generic product categories. Now, if you could take the Snuggie and you could put a twist on it. You could do licensing. You could take the Snuggie and throw a Cowboys logo on it, or a Ravens logo, or something like that. Right? Now you're not marketing the Snuggie, you're marketing the brand to the person. No, that's not okay, because unless you get licensing permission from those teams. I'm just giving you an example of how to take a product that is generic and you could make it less generic, okay? You could take a Snuggie and you could tell all the airsoft and couch commando guys that think they're like ninjas and warriors and stuff that play with airsoft guns and paintball that it's a ghillie suit and it's for snipers, right? Make it in camouflage colors and call them good. That you could do, all right? So you'd have to reposition the product. But that's why we don't go for generic stuff. All right, 4 main browsing sources to start finding product ideas. Number one, Amazon.com, eBay, niche-specific e-tailers like REI, Babies R Us. There's a bazillion of these different, online stores that are pretty massive within their very targeted subset. Okay, we spend a ton of money on Babies R Us. I go to a site called Midway USA all the time because I like to buy a lot of gun stuff. REI's got a great camping, great hiking, rock climbing stuff. Pick your market and then go find a niche retailer, online retailer in that market and start looking around. Okay? And then Alibaba.com. Alibaba gets a bad rap from a lot of people, and I will agree, it does have its drawbacks, but it is also, unless you're willing to get on a plane and fly to the Canton Fair to go to China, you're probably going to spend a lot of time on Alibaba if you want to source from China. We still source from Alibaba, and it works just fine. Okay? It doesn't matter how you find the products. What's important is that you find lots of quote-unquote potential products or interesting products that can then be evaluated. We have to figure out some options that we can then put through the ringer and evaluate to see if any of them have potential. Again, the most important thing here is that you get started. Don't look for a home run, just get in the game. You want to create a potentials list. Make a list of all the products that you find that you think are worth looking into further. Include things like the name of the product or item, what it is, URL to the product, so you can link right to it, right? Any notes that you want to make about the product, if there's anything specific that you need to note or you want yourself to know. A rating system, it's optional. I do this because when I make a potential list, it's very easy for me to get a whole lot of stuff. Some things I think are cool, some things I think are awesome, some things I'm just like, this might be okay. If there's a product that I'm really excited about, I'm not going to stop searching. I'm just going to go ahead and put like 3 asterisks next to it or something like that. So that when I go back and it's time to start evaluating the products on my potential list, I can just jump to whichever one I was the most excited about without trying to remember which one it was. Okay. Optional, it's a neat little trick that works. Okay. I do this in Notepad, or if I'm feeling particularly ambitious, I will get out a spreadsheet on Excel and make some fancy columns and do it that way. Don't stop until you have 15 or 20 different product ideas. Once you start validating these different ideas, you will lose a lot of the products that you thought were pretty exciting at the beginning.